Today is tractor day. We're going to be working on the Allis-Chalmers WD-45 here and attempting to rebuild the carburetor, which is essentially a process of replacing all of the parts inside of the carburetor. So we're going to be working on this contraption here today, and hopefully we get some mighty fine progress, because this thing likes to go put as soon as you're under any kind of a load, which causes it to kind of like jump, you know, because it's not getting a nice constant flowing of fuel under a load. It starts to inconsistently fuel, which makes it inconsistently run, which makes it drive very funky. And to be honest with you, I'm really only hoping it's the carburetor. I don't know for a fact that it's the carburetor. All I know is the carburetor has a lot to do with pretty much most of the reasons this thing could be running funny. So I'm just gonna take a $110 rebuild kit and try to replace everything in it as I go, and hopefully it fixes the problem. If it doesn't fix the problem, then I don't know what to do about it. I've already taken this carburetor off and taken it apart once before. It wasn't that hard, so I'm hoping that it's pretty simple to rebuild everything on this thing. And did I say rebuild? Rebuild, not rebuild. I'm hoping it's gonna be a pretty simple process to rebuild everything on this carburetor and all the internals. So let's get to pulling this one off and get to swapping out all these parts. This here is the little box with all of the parts in it to rebuild the carburetor. This is all of it. According to what I found, this is what people recommended I get to rebuild everything in it. It's just all the small little itty bitty fittings and screws and plugs and just everything, all that good stuff. I mean, a little bit of everything. New gaskets. Here's a new float. So we're gonna just take the carburetor off the tractor, and then what I'm going to do is one piece at a time. And I've never done one of these before, so if I'm doing it wrong, I guess I'm doing it wrong, and I'm just gonna have to end up doing some things over. That's the process of learning sometimes. I read as much as I could, but the way I'm gonna do it to make sure I do it and reinstall things proper, the best that I know how to, I'm going to take the carburetor apart one piece at a time, and after I take each part out, I'm gonna match it up with the part in the rebuild kit and reinstall the new part after I take some parts cleaner and clean everything out in it and reinstall the new part. I'm just gonna do that piece by piece, and hopefully we get the carburetor rebuild complete today, and this thing can go in third gear and not go bog, if you know what I mean. So we'll see how this goes. Let's get to tearing it apart. Okay, well, moment of truth here. Moment of truth. There's all the old parts that came out of the carburetor. Most of them are pretty grimy, but everything has been replaced now. New gaskets and all that jazz, so all the internals are new, and so yeah, hopefully this goes smooth. So I'm gonna hook the battery back up. I had it on a trickle charger while I was working on that for about 45 minutes. So hopefully it's got just enough juice to where it'll fire right up. And then if it does, assuming it does, I installed everything just about the exact way that I took it all out. So hopefully everything's good, and we're gonna be able to get it back out of here and ride it around here for a little bit and see if it has that problem anymore with sputtering out and losing power. Here we go. First thing I hope is that it even starts. Because I just don't know if what I did, like if I installed something wrong, could it keep it from starting? fuel on here. Key is on. I forgot I had it in reverse. Oh, that could have been a problem. So what I'm actually gonna do is get on the tractor and see if it'll start, and if it does start, then I'll just back it out. I honestly completely forgot it was in reverse because normally I just park it and I just leave it in neutral, but I remember that I had to put it in a gear because this garage is on a very slight incline, so it kept wanting to roll out. Now I remember that I had it in reverse. Okay. The good news is it fired right up. We're gonna get it hooked up to that really small drag for our arena that we usually use to grade out the arena a little bit. And I'm gonna hook that up and put those coils on it. And what I was able to do is usually when I would get it into like third gear and try to go up the slight incline here, it would basically start to go put, 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 put. So right now it runs pretty darn close to how it did before in terms of at an idle, which was totally fine. It always idled fine, but it was under a load, it started to cut out and lose power. So we're gonna see what it does. Well, as you can see, $100 to $120 in parts and carburetor rebuild, and it still does the exact same thing. So yeah, guys, now I'm pretty stumped, not gonna lie, pretty stumped. Replaced all the internals on the carburetor, the upper and lower half of it, everything. I pulled everything out and swapped it all out with all the new little parts and fittings, little things, and it does the same thing. So I don't really know, I don't know what it seemingly didn't change anything about how it ran. I mean, it pretty much idled the same, drove the same, everything was pretty much the same. I'm kind of stumped on what it is. I don't know if possibly there's something wrong with the spark plugs. I don't know if there could be an issue with, like, you know, one of them's just not firing right, or two of them aren't firing right or something, and it's causing it to buck and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure. Yeah, if there's any other pointers that could affect how it runs and makes that sound like that and makes it run like that and jerk around, any pointers would be highly appreciated. Anybody out there that knows Allis-Chalmers tractors, or do you know any friends that know the ins and outs of these things, the WD-45s? If anybody could give me some pointers so that I'm not, you know, on a wild goose chase chasing every single possible thing, and could possibly save myself a little bit of time, that would be super highly appreciated, and I would be indebted to you. So please, if you have any helpful tips, let me know. And believe it or not, I actually just had this stinking truck cleaned too, because the winter's supposed to come pick this thing up tomorrow, and now I'm gonna have to wash it again. Oh man. And I do have a few more things I'm gonna be doing to Flat Nasty here. So if you have not watched the videos of this truck so far, keep up with them. It's taken a lot of transformation from what it was. The interior was pretty much disgusting to now it looks like a freaking Lincoln on the inside. It's pretty cool. Now I'm switching over to my iPhone because I'm not so sure if you guys got everything there with the wind and the rain and stuff. Like I said, guys, if you want to get entered to win this truck, 10 times entries are live until Tuesday, November 2nd. Then 10x entries are gone and it's going back to one-time entries. So if you want to get 10x entries, every $1, 10 entries only until Tuesday, November 2nd. That gives you about 3 days and then it's gone. So get in while you can. lmpgear.com. Just place an order and you're automatically entered to win. Thanks so much, guys. I will catch you in the next video. Peace.